Welcome to the Stay Ready Real Estate Podcast, where we stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm your host, Emeka, and in each episode, I'll be breaking down real estate topics to help you find and lock in your first deal. This podcast is all about building wealth through real estate, and the best part, you don't need a lot of money to get started. So let's jump right into it. In long distance real estate is not worth it. Well, for your first couple of deals, and I'm here to tell you why. Number one, you're going to watch these podcasts, you're going to listen to these books, these audiobooks, you're going to read these books, you're going to go on YouTube, watch a couple of videos, and I'm guarantee you they're going to tell you that you don't even have to invest in the area that you're in. Long distance investing can work with no and low money down, right? You just got to find your team and it's just going to work out. And I have invested in long distance real estate. I have had a property states 18 hours away. I have a property right now an hour away. And quite frankly, all the deals that's been within 30 minutes from me have always been better. Almost every single time. And even when I had a house in Kansas while I live in Florida, I lived in that house and then I moved and I just wanted to wait to sell. The interest rate was great, had 2.99 interest rate, and quite frankly, I didn't really need to sell. I had a long-term renter and he treated it well. So number one, investing near you within the next, let's say where you are and put a 30-minute radius around you, investing near you is going to be the best option because you know your area better than any other area, typically speaking, because you live there. And even if you just moved there and you know a different area better, let's say Austin, Texas, where I'm from, and I live there, even if that's the case, you're not going to be there, right? You're going to be living wherever you are, and you're going to be driving around the neighborhood, going to work, going to the gym, going to restaurants, new events, take your kids somewhere if you don't have kids, go to the bar somewhere. And as you're driving around, you're going to just start noticing things day after day, hour after hour, drive after drive. And the reality is there's going to be investors around you, but investors make 20% of all the house sales in the country, right? 20%, right? 2 out of 10 people. So there is not going to be as much competition as you think. Investing around you is simple. It's simple because you can get to the property if you need. You can still build your team like you would in a long distance deal. But what I have learned is when crap hits the fan, you have a lot more peace of mind knowing that you can just go to the property. Right? You don't need to book a flight, book a hotel, fly there, drive 2-3 hours away to get to a property because something is happening. And how many events does it take for you to just be fed up with the long distance property and then just give it up? Who knows, right? Who knows? But what I can tell you is you're going to be spending a lot more money than you would if you just have the property within 30 minutes. It's simple. It's simple. And as soon as you start investing across state lines, honestly, over an hour away, it just gets a lot more complex. And then also it becomes a little bit more like a job, right? So now let's talk a little bit more about the long distance investing and why it can work, but it's not necessarily worth it for you for your first couple of deals, right? Okay. Can it work? Yes, right? Build your team, find your boots on the ground, and everything you're doing for the real estate investing around you, you do the same for long distance investing. But the property is just further, right? So I had a house in Kansas and I live in Florida. And quite frankly, sometimes I forgot I had it, right? Sometimes it was just easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I might not have heard from the tenant or the property management company for a while. But then I had a piping issue. And now I don't know much about piping. I'm not a contractor. I am an investor. I know numbers. I somewhat know finances. But because of the issues, I know whenever I have a piping issue here or a plumbing issue here or something's going on with the bathroom, I reach out to my guy. He goes, looks at the property, and I can go when he goes, or I can go look at it before he goes to see if there's something I can do really quick and save some money, right? And whenever I had that piping issue in Kansas, I had to get multiple people to look at it because there I had multiple plumbers telling me different things, and it was just frustrating not getting a concrete answer of what was going on, right? Because I had a plumber, he did a snake and it wasn't going all the way through, and then I got a different plumber, and then his can go through, and then it gets stuck, and then no one knew why it got stuck. No one knew why. No one knew what the issue was, and I almost just flew my guy out there for him to just tell me what the actual situation was, because those plumbers knew I lived in Florida, so they know that they can just take their time. Oh, he's not going to come out here and test the theory that I have or whatever it may be. But it was just too complex, and I don't think you understand the frustration that you could have just not being able to know and see with your own eyes. There's only so much that pictures and videos can do for you, and it gives me a lot more peace of mind knowing that I can go physically see something, touch something, and not have to spend money on a hotel, Airbnb, flight, rental car, Ubers to do so. Period. Period, period, period. So I'm not saying that it can't happen, but what I am saying is it's not a matter of if something happens if you're investing in, across state lines. It's about when. And when it does, sometimes it could drain years out of you, right? And honestly, if you know your area because you live there, there's not many reasons not to invest around you. You can become the expert in your area and have a peace of mind knowing that you know what's coming in the city, you know what's leaving the city. At the end of the day, it's going to be hard to just completely change a neighborhood, right? So it's not like, an industry leaving can just destroy your investing overnight. It's possible, yes. It's a lot less likely because cities need businesses, period. There's not many reasons to invest across state lines or past an hour or two, period. I mean, honestly, just period, point blank. Because yes, you're going to hear all these stories, these successful stories of, oh, I did Airbnb in Miami, Florida, and I was making a killing and I didn't even need to live there. Yes, those stories happen. But if you are a novice investor, if you're new and you don't even know how deals are working, what is the point if you can't even understand your own neighborhood, right? I am in a multifamily syndication deal. I'm actually in two. I said three, two. And my partners live out in New York. One partner lives in Denver, and one partner lives across the country. Right? I know what you're thinking. Emeka, you just said, why are they doing that? You disagree 100%. The difference is I'm here in Florida. I can get to the properties within a max of an hour, and I am a very trustworthy person that they can trust. We also have a local property management company. So number one, don't invest in anything over across state lines or long distance if you don't have a boots on the ground, because it will never make sense, and you'll quickly realize how important it is to physically have someone that you can trust on the ground. I know that because I know what I do and the value I bring, and it is important. It is important. And that is the key difference here, right? My partners are experienced. I am experienced. I am experienced, and I'm telling you, I've done the long distance investing, and sometimes I want to pull my hair, or I did want to pull my hair out. And your local knowledge is an unfair advantage. Beginners think sophisticated investing means finding some secret market that nobody knows about. Sometimes your edge is much simpler. You already live there. You know where the new grocery store is going. You see where the construction is happening. You know which school everyone is talking about. You notice the neighborhood that's cleaning up. You know which side of the highway people prefer. You hear about employers expanding or leaving. You've unknowingly been conducting market research for years simply just by living there. That's information an out-of-state investor may have to pay somebody to acquire. I know I'm kind of saying things over and over again. And yes, also out-of-state investing works. But you just subliminally being around your neighborhood, you're going to know more just by being there. And I can promise you, no one in the world is going to say that long distance investing is going to be better than investing in your backyard. It is your backyard. So when you're doing your education, looking for a market to invest in, you're already doing too much if you don't have your first house. If you know your area, that's good enough. That is good enough to build wealth. That is good enough to continue to build cash flow, because you're also going to know what houses are overpriced, what houses are underpriced. You're going to know what rents are going to be good for. And this is market data that you know that you can research in other areas. But what's the point? What's the point? All right? Unless you're like in California, New York, maybe even Denver. There's no real reason not to invest in your backyard, because I have a house that is roughly an hour away, right? So if it's an hour away, it's really 2 hours. So that's 2 hours out of my day, minimum. That's just to get to the property. And once I'm at the property, I'm assessing what's going on, what the contractors have done, what they haven't. This was a flip. What still needs to be done. We had a contractor leave on us, so now we got to find a new contractor. I have to go meet him, let him know what's going on, right? And then even though I'm more just a boots on the ground, I'm essentially a minority investor in this one flip. My out-of-town investors who I'm partners with in this deal, they can't see what's going on. If a contractor is there all the time, they're going to miss things, right? Sometimes you just miss things whenever you're always there, right? You know, if you are working in a bathroom and there's this one dot or this speck on, on the vanity, and you're always there, it might just be a part of the vanity if you're a contractor, because they're not going to see that. And these things do happen. These things do happen. I went to the property and I made a punch list of a bunch of stuff that needs to happen. And a contractor agreed with me, oh yeah, we do need to do that. But 5 minutes before, he said that they were done with the interior, right? That's not a knock on the contractor. He's just there all the time. So sometimes you just don't know what you're missing. But unless I was there, here, boots on the ground, an hour away, we would have scheduled photos because they were scheduled for tomorrow, and they had to get pushed back because, as I mentioned, I was there and I looked at it, and the contractor was sending photos and videos, and we didn't catch these things, but I did because I was physically there. If I wasn't, we would have got photos for an unfinished product. The people who are looking to buy the home would walk through the property and realize it was incomplete. And as soon as a buyer has any reason not to buy a house, they're going to use it. Trust me. I just went through the process twice. So listen. I am not saying that you can't invest in long distance real estate. I plan to in the future. I want to personally have a property in the areas that I want to travel to, like Arizona, like Florida, and honestly, some places overseas in Denver. But that's later on down in life, when I have my systems and processes going, when I have built a good community, a good team locally, when I know my area, when I already have the cash flow to take that risk. It is always going to be a bigger risk to invest in long distance real estate. And unless you have boots on the ground, that is a higher risk that, quite frankly, I don't know if I'm ever willing to take again, period. So listen to me, folks. Invest in your backyard, period. It's worth it. You will be successful. And what you can do in your backyard will be a lot more and advantageous for you than trying to invest in long distance real estate. Until next time, see ya. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss when a new one drops. And if you're loving this content, come join me over on YouTube. My link is down below in the comments. I take you behind the scenes of my real life as a real estate investor. You get to see inside my flips, my rentals. You get to see the full journey of me growing from basically 33 units to 100 units, which is the goal I'm shooting for. No highlight reels, no sugarcoating, just a real thing. See you next week.